Hi, this is Emma Wood. I'm just going to show you how I would edit one of my images. And this one that I'm going to do today isn't how I would typically edit an image, but it's a process that I might use to edit an image that needs a little bit more work, or an image that I see potential in, or have had a vision or visualization, and that I want to take it a little bit further. And this image was one that I took when we were in Germany at Christmas, and we were driving through the most amazing scenery, and I loved it so much that I actually asked my husband to stop the car so that I could get out to take this picture. That's how awed I was by what I could see, and in order to be able to see and understand a little bit more about this image, I need to make some adjustments to it. It's not very easy shooting in snow. Obviously, it's very bright and it's hard to get the exposure right. And I knew that this was an image that I was going to have to fiddle around with in processing. So I thought, since it's an image that I took and didn't do anything with, that this would be a good opportunity. So it is overexposed, and you can see that the background is very, very pale and washed out, and you really can't see very much detail at all there. But I like the misty softness to it, um, and the details and the trees. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to apply a VSCO preset, since we're in Lightroom, and I really like these presets because they're fairly similar to the way that I would edit an image. They're filmy and kind of dreamy matte, and they have grain, and I just really like them. Obviously, if you have these, you would already know which kind you like, and you sort of become familiar with them, and you know which ones work best for you. I already know I like this one, so I'm just going to click on this, and it's added a colour, a little bit of matte, and it's just brought out the blues in the image, and that's something that I really liked, and something that struck me when I was actually standing taking the picture, and not necessarily something that you could see after I'd shot it. So I'm just going to bring down the exposure just a little bit, so that I have the trees where I want them. And that's about right. So you can still see, maybe slightly more, you can still see the details in the trees here at the front, but obviously there's still not much going on at the back of the image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a virtual copy of this image, and how I do that is I go over to this panel at the bottom and I click on it, and then I go up to create virtual copy and just click on that, and then you can see down here that there is a copy of the exact same image down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now bring the exposure down to where I want it, so that the background is richer, more colourful. As you can see, by doing that, I've lost a lot of detail in the trees here. It's dark, you can't really see what's going on, you can't see the snow very well on the trees, and it's just doesn't show all the details that you can see. So the only way to be able to see both parts of this image would be to blend the two together, and I'm going to do that by taking these both images into Photoshop. And I do that by clicking down here on the panel, holding the Shift key so that they're both highlighted, click, and then you go to Open as Layers in Photoshop. It takes a bit of time to import the images into Photoshop. My computer particularly is really cluttered. I have so much going on. So it always takes, this is an update that I haven't updated, so I'm just going to open anyway. It always takes a little bit more time than it probably should. Hopefully your laptop will be absolutely clear of clutter, not like mine, and take no time at all for both images to upload. So I always have to be patient and just twiddle my thumbs and go and make a cup of tea or dance or something. Read a book. Hopefully it doesn't take that long. So it's just opening now. And hopefully, fingers crossed, it will be both images. Sometimes, yes, that's good. Okay. Looks like it's working. Second one's just uploading now. This is such a clever way to deal with exposure. If you have an image that you have two different parts of it that you want to enhance. This is just, I have used it a few times, and it's just, whenever I remember to do it, it's like a light bulb going off. It's just really a bit sneaky, but very clever and useful. So both of these have now opened, and if I click on and off here, you can see that's the image before I brought down the exposure. That's the first image, and that's the second image layered over the top of the first image. So what I want to do is just go down here and add a layer mask onto that one, and I'm going to take my little paintbrushy thing and make sure it's on black. Oops, cancel that. And I'm going to go down to about a 20 opacity, just because I want to be gentle and do it softly, and not do too much at once. And I'm just going to paint off the trees a little, because especially at the top, down the darker areas of the tree, you can't see the colours and the light coming through very easily as it is, and it also loses a bit of warmth. See, my computer's still thinking it's kind of slow. And then as you do this, just click on and off so you can see where you are and see how much more you want to do. It's quite dark in the edges here. I can't see much light coming through, so I'm definitely going to brighten this up. See, it's all quite black over here, which I don't want. I'm just going to move this across a little bit. I can't see it very well in the corner. It's too dark in the corner, so I really want to brighten that up. And just make sure that I can see the details on the trees, which is something that I really like. I'm just going to brighten the snowy part up a little bit too. It's just slightly dark. Right, let me see how that's looking. That's looking pretty good. I quite like that. It's maybe a little bit more here where the light would naturally come through. Okay. So you can see the details in the trees, but you can also see the richness and the colours and the shadows on the bottom. So when you have it the way you want, just flatten those two layers together. And although I like this image, I want to see what it looks like without the distraction. So I'm going to do a duplicate layer here, and I'm going to use the spot healing brush tool just to see what this image looks like with some of these distractions taken away. So what I'm wondering about is taking away these poles and lines here, so that it has a more natural feel to it. I'm not very stable with my hands. They're a little bit shaky, so you have to get this as small as you can and follow the lines as closely as you can to the parts that you want to remove. And there's just a little line there, I can just see it. And this line here. Sometimes this doesn't look very natural and you might have to use a clone tool after you have used this little sticky thing here that isn't, oops, that wasn't very straight. And this line here definitely isn't a tree. It's part of a pole, so I'm just gonna try and remove this. Let's see how this does. Oops. Okay, and then if you click out on and off, see that's left a little bit behind. I'm just going to see if I can take that away. Like that. And if you click on and off, you can kind of see whether it looks natural or whether you need to do a little bit more. There's another sticky thing here, so I'm just going to take this off. And another little bit here. And if you prefer it in, you can just flatten it, this layer away, this duplicate layer, and leave it as it is. Or if you like it after you have taken the distractions away, then just flatten it and keep it as it is. I don't particularly think that the poles add anything to this. It's not, I didn't really notice that when I took the image. I was just so in awe of all the beautiful scenery, so I'm going to flatten it and keep them out. If I was going to take more time on this, I would zoom in and make sure that the parts that I took out with the healing tool were definitely all, definitely there weren't any little bits in there that looked kind of strange, and I'd make sure and be more careful with it. But other than that, that's exactly how I want it. And I'm not going to do anything else to this image because although I thought that I might warm it up, I like the blue colours so much, and that is actually how I saw it when I took the picture. So I'm just going to leave it exactly as it is, and I like it like that. And I hope that was a little bit useful and that you maybe learned something new during this process. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.